On today's episode of First Cup, we're going to talk about even more feedback on last Thursday's MMA versus TMA versus episode. Talk about the brand new productivity tool I found and how it exposes a hole in the way people think. And I've got some questions from you that I'm going to answer. So stick around. We roll in 10. Three, two, one. Good morning, everybody, and welcome. Today is Tuesday. It's November 9th, 2021. My name is Jeremy. This is my first cup of coffee. Well, it is 4 days until free training day, and I could not be more excited. Good morning, Stacy. Well, that's not true, because I'll be a little more excited tomorrow, and then the next day, and then Saturday morning. I'll be really excited, and there's a good chance I don't sleep well Friday night. Between being in a hotel and knowing the event is the next day. I'm really pumped. Good morning, Daniel. I don't think you all understand. Those of you who have been, you understand that the event is really cool and it's special and it's fun and all that. I don't think you understand what it feels like to know that that experience fell out of my brain. Whistlekick is the thing I'm probably most proud of in my life, broadly, and free training day is as if I had to pick a single element, is probably the thing I am most proud of within whistlekick, because it brings together all the things that are important to me: friends and training and good vibes and all that. Good morning, Nathan. Nathan, you're on my list to reach out to tomorrow. Nathan's teaching at free training day. Stacy will be taking pictures at free training day. It's all about free training day. Well, we've been getting more and more feedback. So if you haven't watched or listened, make sure you go back and check out last Thursday's episode, Is MMA Ruining Traditional Martial Arts? And if you have feedback, please share it, but please listen to or watch the episode first. Just, ugh. I am really frustrated with people who respond to titles of things and not things. You see this all the time on social media. I'm going to respond to the title of this article and not the actual article, which is great because once in a while you can find those people because there will be a really sarcastic or even parody title of the article. And they respond what they think it says, but not what it actually says, because people aren't willing to put in the time. They're not willing to read the details. They're not willing to understand there's that word, nuance. Good morning, Jenny. Daniel will be sat at home sulking because he can't come to free training day. I'll be honest. One of the things that we did explore was, can we do this? Can we add a virtual track? Can we add a Zoom track? And it's not that I wasn't willing to do it. It's that the logistics of it were really compounded what is supposed to be a simple event. The event, as it is this year, is taking a massive step forward in terms of complexity. And Andrew and I were talking about, like, I'm not happy with how much more is going on with this. Not because I don't like the things, but because it's a lot at once. And I've learned, and if you've read the book, How Not to Hold a Tournament, if you've read that book, you know my philosophy is don't change more than 15% at a time. And we are changing like 50%. I'm still confident, but I like when things move slower. It's a lot easier to handle the unknowns. There will be unknowns. Something will happen and go weird. I don't know what it'll be. We'll find out. That episode, we actually pushed that one a little bit. We shared it around on social media. I made a TikTok video. It was like, hey, go check this out. And we've gotten a lot of really good responses. Honestly, I expected that we would pop up on somebody's radar who would, summon the trolls. That's the word I was looking for. But it didn't happen. Even the people who are critical don't realize that they're not critical. They're being critical of what they think we're saying instead of what we're actually saying. Good morning, Eric. Stacy says that she's read that book. Not, honestly, more people have read that book than I thought have read that book. If you're unfamiliar, the first book I wrote was it took me about a year. I started writing it in 2016 after we hosted a tournament. And it is warm in here. I don't need this. And I did it because I needed to codify what my own experiences were, and I figured other people may want it. And there's even a course if you want to hold a martial arts event, like there's templates and everything that, yeah, I will. And there's even a guarantee in there that if you do not make extra revenue to justify the purchase of the course and all that stuff, I'll give you your money back, but you will. Dennis says it's an excellent book. Stacy says you had me read it in draft form. That's right. I forgot that. Stacy's been around for a while helping out. She's great. What was the other thing I was going to say? Yesterday's episode with David Hogsett, doing well. People are liking it. People are responding. One of the things I'm noticing across everything in social media is that fewer people are seeing things. Doesn't matter what we put out, doesn't matter where we put it, fewer people are seeing things. That bums me out. Makes it harder. But what it's going to mean ultimately is that Facebook and these other social media platforms, because they've been so all in with their algorithms on the financial aspect, that they're really diluting the value for people. And I've been wondering, where is the thing that's going to supplant Facebook? Where's the gap for it? And that's what it is. There have been a number of things that have tried, but something that's a little more balanced. And my guess is the easiest thing would be to give back some of the money that comes in from ads, so people can dial in like, I want 10% of my feed to be ads. Okay, well, we're going to give you they'll have some kind of cryptocurrency of their own, kind of a thing. That's probably where it's going to happen. And once it reaches critical mass, bye. Meta. Yeah, Daniel says, you mean Meta? Ugh. It's such a ridiculous organization. But it allows us to do a lot of really cool things. I actually had this thought over the weekend, and I'm glad I remembered it. If you think about anything that grows, there's a tipping point. There's a point where it becomes too big. Trees can get so big that they are blown down. People can get so big that they're not healthy. If you blow up a balloon, it can get so big it's unstable, right? Everything that grows has kind of a sweet spot, and it can get too big. And Facebook has become too big. It cannot support itself under its own weight. So we'll see what happens. So I mentioned yesterday that I was considering changing out my long-standing process of scheduling everything on my calendar. And I've been aware of other things that could do what I needed them to do, but they weren't any better. So I posted on Facebook and I said, hey, Facebook people, which this post actually got a lot of engagement. What do you use? Here's what I need. And everything that came back was either designed for team productivity, which I do not need. The team does a great job. I don't need to oversee them. I don't need to micromanage them. And very little of what I do involves other people having to do their part first. Right? There's no project management stuff. So you had a lot of people with Asana and Trello and Monday and these tools that I've tried. They're not what I needed. And other people saying, I use a paper calendar or just a really straight to-do list. I needed more than that. And so I went to Googling and I finally found the word that I needed to put in there: solopreneur. Years ago, and I mean like 10 years ago, I conceived of a to-do management program that was algorithmic based. I said, the logic on what I should work on in any given day is really simple. It's based on deadline, how much time is left, and a handful of other criteria. There's an API for Google Calendar. Why does my to-do list not fill in the gaps on my Google Calendar? And I had a few other features, and I built a mock-up with it and actually had one of my employees. We ran everything through it in Excel. I had to manage it manually, but we tried it and it worked beautifully. The problem was the management was cumbersome and couldn't be automated. I approached a friend a few years later who programmed, and I said, I've got this idea. What do you think? And he said, it's an interesting idea. I don't have time. And so I kind of let it die. Somebody else made it. Somebody else made exactly what I wanted to make. It interfaces with Google Calendar, and it tells you what to do. It gives you your schedule. If you have a meeting, it fills things in around the meeting constantly. If you have recurring appointments, things you have to do, let's say once a week, and it doesn't matter what day or when you do them, it puts it in when it makes the most sense based on deadlines. It's called usemotion.com. It's awesome. I just started playing with it yesterday, but I can already tell that this is going to be a game changer for me. Super excited. Now here, we'll come back to that in a moment. Daniel says, did you see there was already a company called Meta and they are holding out on selling Zuck the name? You'd think he'd have checked. I did see that. They are if I remember correctly, a computer assembler in like the Southwest of the US. It's a generic term. And here's the thing. A lot of people don't understand how trademark law works. The biggest thing you have to prove is, would there be confusion in the marketplace? Would anyone ever confuse Whistlekick, the martial arts company, with Whistlekick, the goat farm? Yes, there's a Whistlekick goat farm. The only other mention of Whistlekick on the internet. Whistlekick pygoras, which, if I remember correctly, is a variety of goat. I reached out to them once. They didn't write back. I just wanted to say hi and see if there was a fun way we could collaborate. Jenny says, as I was reading the details on motion, I thought it sounded perfect for you. Yeah, one of the things I did last night, for those of you that don't know, Jenny is in charge of all of our books, and including our newest book, the Cobra Kai Karate Kid. We didn't call it a compendium, but there are 3 interviews in there and an original cover. It's a great book. Check it out. Daniel says, goat yoga is a thing. Why not goat karate? I love it. Stacy says, baby goats. Baby goats are probably one of the cutest things on earth. Goats and rabbits have a lot in common with their personalities, the way they run and jump and move. If you've known me for a while, you know I love rabbits. Used to have a rabbit. There's a picture of him still on the wall over there. We used to hang out. As I was setting this tool up last night, because I only started on this at like 4:30, one of the things it'll do is it will tell you, no, that's the wrong word. If I set up meetings, like Jenny and I have a meeting periodically, I can set that up as a flexible meeting. And if a meeting comes in from an important client and I schedule, you know what, I've got to steal that time, and I schedule over where we're supposed to meet, it will automatically work with her. I don't have to do this. It works with her to reschedule. If both of us use this motion tool, it just reschedules for us and nobody has to get involved. It's like having an amazing assistant for, what is it, $34 a month. I'm in love already. I'm in love with the concept, and so far it hasn't broken. And a big part of what I'll do this week is transition over. I got a 5-day trial. I'll transition over all my calendar stuff to its format, because it's got to be in it, and then it plugs that stuff into the calendar. So if you are someone who has a lot of chaos and a lot of things to do, and you want something better, I would suggest checking it out. If you're really in on it, there's a code I can give you for like $100 off. I think it gives you like 3 months free or 4 months free or something like that. So. All right, there's a whole bunch of conversation about goats going on in the chat here. These are all coming through from Facebook. Baby goats. Stacy says, Daniel, I hear they are great kickers. Dennis, love baby goats. Daniel's suggesting we go for goat taekwondo instead. Now, I mentioned that there was an element to this conversation on Facebook that I thought was martial arts related, and I wanted to bring it up. Most people, myself included, for the last very long time, get into a routine. They are invested in their process and they are either unwilling, unable, don't think about the possibility that there may be a better way. Now, as traditional martial artists, we are constantly conflicted with this because this is what we've always done, but here's a better way of doing it. And the best example I'll give in my own life is a front kick. We were all taught a pretty straightforward front kick, right? Bring up the knee, foot out, back, down. Okay. The front kick I've been using lately doesn't bring the knee up first. But if you don't bring the knee up, guess what? There's way more power springing off the floor. You get to use far bigger muscles. If you find the JLMA, German Lesniak Martial Arts channel on YouTube, I did a video about a knee and how to use a knee in this way, that we tend to just lift the knee as a strike as opposed to launching off the floor and driving with the foot. It's actually easier to feel it when you throw a front kick out of it. It's faster, it's more powerful. It can slip under somebody's guard easier, but it's not traditional. So how do I reconcile that? That's up to me, that's individual. But how many of the things that we think, say, do, are used to in our lives, in our professional lives, in our personal lives, could be better if we were willing to take a step back and consider, in this sort of Cartesian cogito ergo sum reductionist thought process. If I take a step back and look at everything I do for work or everything I do in my training and say, okay, let me build this back up. Does the way I do my front stance make sense? Is there a better way to do my front stance? Let me look at the way other people do front stances. I like that they do this. I don't like that they do this. Oh, but if I do this and then I can do this. Oh, what about this? Right. And when you ask people, well, what about this? Why not that? You tend to get what comes down to fear of change. Now, something happened last night here that has not happened before. I had clients come here. There's a husband and wife client. I think I mentioned them yesterday that I was going to work with them. And they've got a successful business and they do amazing work. But some of the challenges in the way that they manage the business and communicate with each other about the business could be improved. And so I played because I did it and I did a really good job, I think. Business couples counselor last night. They were here. And a lot of what we were talking about involved, okay, this is the way it's been going. Let's take a step back. Is there a better way? What if you tried this? What if you tried that? And I was kind of playing the role of idea person, and they were unpacking these ideas. You can't have growth without change. You cannot become a better martial artist by doing the exact same techniques in the exact same way. It is impossible. And I'll be honest, if you equate rank with growth, you're missing the point. Stacey says I did mention them yesterday. Okay, cool. Now there's a question in here from Josh Blum. Josh, we got to find a time to work together again. I miss talking to you, man. That follows right on the heels of that. So let me switch in there. This is a question about rank I have been pondering for a long time. Rank, to me, is weird. How much rank is enough? Thinking more about the care of advanced dan ranks, higher level black belts. For example, does it equate to more knowledge? One would think, right? But there are always ways to get that knowledge without the piece of cloth or extra stripe or whatever. Is it status? Being closer to the front of the room in warm-ups, bragging rights, money for the teacher? Okay, that's my cynical side. This is obviously an individual decision, and some arts are more hierarchical than others, but since rank means different things to different people, I thought it'd be an interesting discussion point as to why people pursue advanced rank. We have been taught, most of us, from the very beginning that rank correlates to knowledge, correlates to skill, correlates to opportunity. So whether or not your goal is to climb the rank ladder or learn as much as you can, or be given opportunities like more prominent competition, opening a school, having students, etc. No matter which of those things or combination of those things is important to you, you're on the same path. You go to class, you learn, you get better, you test, you advance, you get more opportunities to learn other forms and techniques, and you just lather, rinse, repeat. And by the time you become a black belt, a higher level black belt, that process, I think, is so ingrained for most of us that we keep going. We just keep doing because it's what we've always done. But is there a point where enough is enough? And there is. And it's an individual decision. And what I've found more and more as I have open and honest conversations with older, long-standing martial artists, especially some of the prominent ones, is they're just quiet about it. You know, they earn their rank from somebody and, okay, I'm going to keep training. I'm going to keep teaching. Let's be honest. What is the difference in your life between, let's say, a 6th and a 7th degree black belt? Does it change anything? I don't know of any systems where there are new forms that you're going to learn, new technique. It gives you a spot in the pecking order. And that's not necessarily bad, especially if it's an organization that works together to do things. But I think for most of us, it doesn't really change anything. It becomes a representation of ego ultimately. Now, I'm kind of facing some of this. I'm being encouraged and am testing for my next Superfoot rank. And I'm doing it because I'm asked to. There are a lot of things that happen in that process, in that organization. I love these people. These are great people. I love Bill. He's a wonderful person, and I think very highly of him. And so I'm willing to suspend, hey, maybe this is not the best use of my time and money, because I don't know. Because who knows what's going to happen, 50 years from now. I'll still be around, don't worry. There will only ever be one Bill Wallace, and I will only have a short number of opportunities to receive rank from him. Am I doing it for the rank? Yeah, I guess I am. But I'm doing for the rank for other people. Mostly. I've said this before, I'll say it again. I think rank is getting diluted so much that it will ultimately go away. I think it will be replaced with what I think are closer to certifications and specializations. We're going to certify that you know this form. You showed it to us, you did it well, you showed us the application. You've got your level 1 Pinyon Shodan, Heian Shodan, Chongji merit badge. And then at some point later on, you earn your level 2 because you were able to show deeper competency. And maybe you have, your novice specialization in using nunchaku. Right? And it becomes more, Boy and Girl Scout style. I think that's where we're headed. I can't be sure. But I think it makes a lot of sense. And I think that we may end up with changing up the way rank goes. I hope so. I'm not happy with how we do things now in a lot of schools. I'm not going to spend time worrying about it. Stacy says, let me know if you need a photographer. It's in New Hampshire. It will not be. It will be in Atlantic City. January 22nd, 3rd, and 4th at Sifu Alan Goldberg, who's been on the shows. Action Martial Arts Hall of Honors, Action Martial Arts Magazine Hall of Honors Mega Weekend at the Tropicana. It's a very long event title, and I'm 80% sure I didn't get it correct. But if you want to come down, the interesting thing about that event is that the only hotel night that's really expensive is Saturday, and it's like $200. But admission to the event is $40. And like staying Friday night is really inexpensive. You want to stay Sunday night, it's almost free because it's a casino. They want you to be there. They're not going to make any money if you're not there. So who knows? I may stay a couple nights on either end because it's so cheap. And, Atlantic City in January, ooh, it's beautiful. Diego says, that's a name and a half. It is. And Liz is about merit badges with a heart. Yeah. So, Josh, I hope I answered that question well enough for you. If you want me to go deeper, give me a little bit more on what and how, please. Now, Frank gave us some stuff. Tomorrow is Rener Gracie's birthday. He turns 38. And we got 3 nice quotes, and we'll end with these from Rener. The goal is not to simulate reality right now by going crazy. The goal is to prepare for reality by going slowly. There's a quote after my own heart. Saturday during free training day, Andrew and I are presenting a modified version of what I've taught before on, that I call the magic of slow. I believe wholeheartedly that everything we do in life, we should find a way periodically, not just when we first learn it, to go slowly. There is magic in moving slowly. There are things that you can do slowly you cannot do fast. There are things you can do fast that you cannot do slowly. So making sure that you do move slowly, at least periodically, through anything and everything is a good idea. Well, these are great quotes. He who manages the distance manages the damage. The ability to know your partner or opponent's range, your own range, is critical. Oh, you're there. I can hit you with this, but you could also hit me with that. Oh, we're all constantly looking for the position where we can hit and not be hit. That's the goal. That is 100% of the goal of what we do in our free-form movement. Well, unless the drill is, reductionist in some way. Coffee came out good. One more. Uno más. If you train worst case scenarios consistently, they will no longer be worst case scenarios. The more you prepare for, the better off you'll be. Andrew and I did a quick video in the hotel room that I've got to double check and make sure it's good enough. I think it's good enough that we'll release it as a podcast about hotel room safety. There are so many things that we missed that we know we missed because we didn't plan it. It was very impromptu. But I bring that up because somebody breaking into your hotel room while you're there, that's a worst case scenario. That's one nobody trains for. What do? There's only one way out, usually through that person. Yikes. But the more you're willing to take a step back and say, what are all the horrible things that could happen? Which ones should I prepare for? The ones that are most likely. As you get better with those, they're no longer as big of a deal. Think about the first time you got a shot at the doctor that you remember. You probably built it up that it was going to be awful. And even if you don't like shots, it wasn't as bad as you thought it was going to be. Or something else, maybe going to the dentist or getting audited or whatever. It's never as bad as you think it's going to be. All right. Matt says it's 70% of the goal. He's not as fast as he used to be, so he's totally willing to sacrifice getting hit so he can take the shot he wants. That makes sense. Makes total sense. Frank suggests getting a hotel room with a back door. Those are incredibly rare. And Liz relates it to, it's like learning defensive driving for your body. Completely agree. And Stacy's running off, and so am I. It's 7 o'clock. I hope you guys have a great day. I'm going to have a great day. I got some friend time planned. I'm really excited for that. In fact, I'm pretty much off all day. I've got a couple things this morning, then I'll be off for most of the day just to try to decompress after the long weekend and the upcoming long weekend. So I'm going to drop some stuff. I'll drop a post in Facebook for tomorrow for you to leave something, questions, comments, because remember, we do this show every weekday, 6:30 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time. And if you want to support us in all that we do here at Whistlekick, remember, we've got a Patreon, patreon.com/whistlekick. I did upload, I think I have to post that. I did not post that yet. The audio version of the debrief from the weekend is up. The video version was processing, and I didn't get that over to Patreon yet because YouTube is taking forever. But I will do that this morning. Take care, everyone. I appreciate you, and I hope to see you back here tomorrow for another episode. Take care. Peace.